Last 17 years, United States stock market, how many of those 17 years do you think the stock market has been up? The answer is 15 of the last 17 years have been up. That is not normal. So the problem is most of the retirees I'm talking to today, perhaps you were in your 40s the last time there was a serious major market crash. So this video about the retirement mindset shift is very timely and very important. You're not 40 anymore. You can no longer afford to lose half your money like you did last time. I'm starting to see a concerning trend in retirees in their 60s or those nearing retirement. This is a classic problem, one of the biggest mistakes retirees can make. And we have not seen this in a long time, and it's starting to creep up again and rear its ugly head. Here's a couple in their 60s. They're about to retire. Everything looks good. They have a wonderful chance of retirement success. If everything goes according to plan, they're never going to run out of money. Their kids are going to have plenty of money. But you change just one thing, stock market doesn't perform the way they expected, and then they run out of money at age 83. Why? Because there is a problem that they too had that they were not aware of, and I'm about to share with you. Today, I'm going to give you 2 questions to see if you realize what the issue is, and then I'm going to introduce you to what I call the retirement mindset shift. And I'm going to show you how you can go in your retirement from I think I'm going to be okay to what I call the perfect retirement. Disclosure, you cannot really say perfect retirement, but I've been doing this for a pretty long time. And if it's not perfect, I don't know what is. At least it's pretty darn close. I'll show you and you can tell me what you think. First, I want to tell you a really quick story. It goes back to 1929. And this is a story that every retiree needs to hear. You probably haven't heard it. 1929, a guy named Joseph Kennedy Sr., this would be JFK's dad, is a very successful stockbroker. He's made a lot of money. He's walking down Wall Street. He decides to get his shoes polished. He finds a shoe shine boy, and 1929 was an interesting time for the stock market. There was a stock market craze. Everyone in America was loving stocks. The stock market had been up 500% over the last 8 years. Everybody and their brother is talking about what stocks they want to buy. Well, the shoe shine boy starts giving Joseph Kennedy Sr. stock tips, okay? That was Joseph Kennedy's sign. It was approximately summer of 1929. That was his cue to do what? Sell everything. In fact, he even shorted the market. Now, just because a shoe shine boy gives you tips doesn't mean you should sell, but when people are exuberant, Joseph Kennedy Sr. was right. In about 3 months' time, the stock market started to fall. And in fact, over the 3 next years, the stock market went down 90%. Okay. Moral of that story is that when everyone, even the shoe shine boys, are so confident they're giving you stock tips, it could be a sign, it could be a very good sign that the stock market is about to. Let's fast forward to today. In case we haven't met, my name is Christian Sear. I'm a CPA, CFP, and I'm the founder of the AIM Retirement System. I am introduced to retirees like you on a daily basis, and I'm starting to see the same type of thing coming about. Here's 2 examples of calls I've had recently with retirees or people who are getting ready to retire. This was a 64-year-old couple. They're retiring in a year. And the gentleman, very nice couple, they say, hey, we've done a great job investing our funds. Our 401k has doubled over the last 10 years. And we're just looking to keep this going on retirement. I hear this a lot. Okay, here's another couple, 62-year-old couple from Kentucky. They're retiring at the end of the year. They said something very similar to me. They said, we don't mind risk. Our funds have done really great over the last 15 years. And can you add more of this so we can keep, a portfolio that grows? These are not the conversations I was having with retirees 10 years ago, let me tell you. So let me give you 2 quick questions to see if you realize what's going on here. I think most people who I ask these questions to, they just have no idea, right? And it gives great perspective. Question number 1 is, in the last 17 years, so I'm going to start with 2009, 10, 11, and go all the way through to 2025. As the recording of this video right now, 2025 is not over, but it's nearly over, and it appears as though it's going to be a great year. So last 17 years, United States stock market, how many of those 17 years do you think the stock market has been up? What do you think? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? The answer is 15 in the last 17 years have been up. That is not normal. Okay, that's almost a 90% win rate. That is pretty unprecedented. Okay, question number 2, let's give it a little more perspective. Same time period, last 16 and a half years, how much has the U.S. stock market gone up? Has it doubled? Has it tripled in 16 and a half years? Has it quadrupled? The answer is normally in a 16 and a half year period, the stock market goes up about 5 times. Okay, $1 turns into $5, $100 turns into $500. You get what I'm saying? Not this time. Since St. Patty's of 2009, the stock market has been up 12 times, okay? So the problem is most of the retirees I'm talking to today, perhaps you were in your 40s the last time there was a serious major market crash. And so this video about the retirement mindset shift is very timely and very important. Now, whether you remember the last stock market crash, that's not the real issue here, okay? A lot of people remember it. I'm just trying to give you a magnitude of people not realizing how good it's been and perhaps forgetting how bad it was, okay? You're not 40 anymore. You can no longer afford to lose half of your money like you did last time. And I'm not saying, don't get me wrong, this video is not about Christian Sears, CPA, CFP saying that the market is going to crash tomorrow or next week. It might be next month. It might be next year. That's not the point. Nobody really knows. But the fact of the matter is we are overdue, and you have to make a mindset shift. I have to bring you back to what's really important in retirement, and most of you aren't getting it or don't remember what that is, okay? Major market crashes are scary. Just because we haven't had one in 17 years, the fact of the matter is you're 65 years old, your retirement's going to last 25, 30 years. You will see a major market crash during your retirement 2 or 3 times, okay? I'm not talking about like a 20% bear market. I'm talking about a 30, 40, 50% market crash. That's going to happen 2 or 3 times in your retirement. If you don't believe me, look it up. The answer to all of this is a retirement mindset shift, and it's going to be very important. It's going to help you take the step you need to take your retirement from I hope I'm going to be okay to I know I'm going to be okay. All right. You can put yourself in a position where you just don't care what happens to that stock market. I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Before I get started, just really quickly, I want to put the words on the screen. I want to define the idea of the mindset shift, and we'll go from there. The most successful retirement plans are not centered on investment returns. They are not centered on investment returns. They're about 1, minimizing or reducing your reliance on the stock market during your retirement. Number 2, increasing income stability. We will talk about that. And 3, drastically reducing your tax and legislative risk in retirement. All will keep you in a position where you can still benefit from potential stock market growth. So let's take a look at an actual couple, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a couple that came to me about a month ago. We were talking about their retirement. He's 61, she's 58. They were going to retire in about 2 years. They've done a good job saving about $1.6 million in investable assets. That's going to go up, of course, in the next 2 years as they continue to save money. They're spending about $10,000 a month. So importantly, they have not had the retirement mindset shift yet. But even without that, they have an 88% chance of retirement success, which is really good. So let's look at that. What's that look like? Well, this is the amount of money they need to spend every year, and this is how they're getting it. You can see the majority of this is orange. This is them taking money out of their 401k, their IRA, their investments. And that's the primary reason they haven't made the mindset shift yet. The primary reason why their chances of success are not 100%. Okay, so let me tell you what I'm talking about. Do you remember this? This is the lost decade where the stock market didn't make a dime for 10 years. In fact, it lost a little bit of money. So what if that happens in their retirement? Okay, bad decade, nothing happens, and then the stock market only goes up 6% for the remainder of their retirement. They run out of money basically in their late 80s. What if it gets even worse? What if they have a bad decade and then they have slow growth? They run out of money in their mid to early 80s. And what about worst case scenario? They don't make a dime in their entire retirement. They're running out of money at late 70s, early 80s, okay? Here's the retirement mindset shift. I started talking to this couple. We did some things I'll show you later. I said, look, this is you. If everything goes well, you're going to be fine. But look what happens. When I put in these bad scenarios, they do not run out of money, okay? They do not run out of money. Even the worst case scenario where they don't make a dime in retirement, they actually start to have a little shortfall here at age 96, okay? That is the difference between the mindset shift and not. I mean, just look at this. No problems at all, or potentially running out of money. It's a huge problem, and I want to show you what you want to do to make the retirement mindset shift. So what's point 1 of the mindset shift? Minimizing or eliminating reliance on stock market. This is very important, okay? Because remember, status quo, their retirement looks great. But what happens if we have a bad bad decade followed by stock market growth. We're running out of money, okay? We can't rely on status quo for 30 years. We can't stand the risk. We have one chance to get this retirement right, and we can't have red sitting here. So what are we going to do? This risky portfolio, let's actually reduce it. Let's have a mindset shift where we actually reduce the risk in their portfolio. Now, it's a little counterintuitive because you're actually making less money, but their income stability is what's important. That's the second point of the mindset shift. And guys, even if you have a more conservative portfolio, you're still drawing on your investments here. So what have you really done? You really haven't achieved anything. 50% of your retirement success is predicated upon the stock market and your investments performing well. So we have to take a second step by combining two things. We have to combine Social Security, and we optimize it in concert with the mailbox money strategy or Social Security 2.0. And what this does is it starts to reduce their reliance on the stock market. And look at this, their income stability goes up to 76%. That means now less than 25% of their success is relying on the stock market, okay? But we have to take it further. I don't like 23% chance. I like 100% chance. Now, when you talk about taxes, that's the third point about the mindset shift. Taxes and legislative risk. I just want to take an aside for a second. Working with a retirement advisor who includes the CPA as part of the team, who's an employee of the firm, who's sitting right next to your financial planner in every meeting. You have a tax person, a CPA, and a CFP sitting in the same room with every meeting. It just makes more sense. It makes for a more comprehensive approach to retirement. And you notice, I'm a financial advisor, but most of my colleagues, what you'll find is you'll ask them a tax question, they might skirt around it. And if you really keep digging, eventually you get to those scary words. You'll have to speak to your tax advisor. Well, wouldn't it be great if the tax advisor, your tax advisor, is sitting at the same table in the same room? It just makes for a more comprehensive approach. Advisors, they're great. They don't do tax returns. They certainly don't do client tax returns, and most of them, frankly, don't do their own tax return. Okay, I'm off the high horse. This couple, step number 3 of the mindset shift is, hey, let's put ourselves in control of taxes and legislative risk. Let's do a Roth conversion. Obviously, this saves them a ton of federal income taxes between now and the day they die. But they're doing it by paying their taxes now. And it's not just about saving all this money, okay? The Roth conversion, it also eliminates their required minimum distributions. It also reduces their Medicare Part B. It also, whatever they leave to their children, now their children are getting it tax-free, and we're completely getting rid of the widow's tax trap because there are virtually no taxes in their retirement. If you look, they do the Roth conversion, there's no taxes once they hit about age 75. Very little, minimal, okay? So that is what we're talking about. And this third step, the tax and legislative risk, you'll see something magical happens where there's absolutely zero reliance on the stock market. They're a guaranteed income from Social Security. This gentleman had a pension. And here's your mailbox money, your Social Security 2.0 strategy. This is all part of the mindset shift. Now, I know I went through all those things fast. The point of this video is not to get into details about tools for the mindset shift, okay? I've made hours and hours of videos on all of these things, the philosophy for your investments, Social Security optimization in coordination with mailbox money or Social Security 2.0 and Roth conversion. So there are playlists here on my channel. I'm going to put the links to those playlists down in the description of this video. If you want to learn more about any of those things, just click on it. The point of this video is that the retirement mindset shift puts you into a completely different category of retirement security, okay? Now, this couple that I showed you, everybody's situation is different, right? Your situation is going to look different than that couple and the next couple, but it is very indicative, very typical of what we're seeing on a daily basis with the retirees I speak to. So, mindset shift, let's break it down. Market risk, they reduce the uncontrollable stock market risk next to nothing, okay? What was the shift? Their retirement mindset shift was, let's not think about how much money we can make in retirement. Let's think about how much risk we can remove from it, okay? Income stability, point 2 of the mindset shift. They put themselves in control of their income by combining optimized Social Security in concert with mailbox money or Social Security 2.0. What was that mindset shift? Don't think about how soon you can get your hands on your Social Security. Mindset shift. Think about how you can best utilize these income stability items, Social Security, mailbox money, Social Security 2.0, whatever you want to call it. How can I best use these things to achieve long-term success so I'm not worried about my retirement? Finally, tax, legislative risk. They greatly reduced their taxes. You saw that. Over the course of their retirement, they're saving tons of money. But not only that, they eliminated the required minimum distributions. They got rid of the widow's tax trap. This also significantly reduces the legislative risk from future tax highs. If you watch this channel, if you watch this video right here, you know that I think that taxes are going to go up. You know that I think that this is inevitable, and we're literally relying on people in Washington, D.C. to keep our tax rates low. I don't think it's going to happen due to the debt issue. The mindset shift. It's don't think about delaying your taxes in retirement. These are taxes that you're ultimately going to have to pay. Either you or your beneficiaries are going to have to pay. We know you have a built-in ticking tax time bomb, which is your 401k or your IRA. You're going to have to pay them ultimately anyway. Think about this. Why don't we pay our taxes sooner to potentially save our family a ton of money, 6 or 7 figures over the long haul? So that's the core of the retirement mindset shift. Do not get caught up in the trap of focusing only on investment returns during retirement, making money. Yes, the stock market has been a great friend to us for the last 16 or 17 years, but bad things can happen. You need to be in control so that you can wisely spend down your assets and make your money last. I truly hope this was helpful for you in your retirement planning. If you are curious about what it's like to actually work with a retirement specialist and not just a financial generalist, or perhaps you're just looking for a second opinion from a firm that focuses on the full scope of retirement, the advice, the taxes, the tax preparation, the healthcare, estate planning, investments, all that, the AIM Retirement System might be worth looking into. It could be your first and only conversation, or you might find out that you're in great shape. Either way, it's just a conversation to see where your retirement really is at and if you're in a good place. If you're interested in that assessment and you want to talk to one of us, you can click the very first link right below in the description, where there's a big QR code right here on your screen. You can scan that and have a conversation with one of us. Either way, my name is Christian Sear, CPA, CFP. I thank you very much for taking the time to watch me talk about the topic I love, which is retirement. I hope to see you again in our next video. Thanks for watching.
Investment advisory services provided by Sear Financial Incorporated, an SEC registered investment advisor. All content on this YouTube channel is for information purposes only and should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. Material presented is believed to be from reliable sources, and no representations are made by our firm as to another party's informational accuracy or completeness. Neither Sear Financial Incorporated nor its representatives provide tax or legal advice, and nothing herein should be construed as such. Always consult with your tax advisor or attorney regarding your specific circumstances.